Let's roll.
Hey everybody, welcome back to X's for Show. I'm Nico.
Hi everyone, I'm in this box for this fashion week, and I'm called Jonah. You can find me places at Jonah.
And I'm TK. You can find me at TK Accidental.
You can find me, Tori, strutting your internets at SM Tori. That's Tori with an I.
And I'm KEVO Rayleigh. Make sure to like, subscribe, and comment so we know what you want us to cover in the future. Today we got some prongs.
Yeah, we're talking Project Runway. Okay, so season 21. Some of us, this half the panel, have watched 21 seasons. And the All-Stars is some of the junior stuff, some of the Under the Gun stuff, a lot of it. So good to have Heidi back, so good to have Christian back. But TK, this is your first Real People season because last year was All-Stars, and so it wasn't like quite a season. Tori, this is quite a season to be your first. Guys, how you feeling starting off?
I said to you in chat that this, after all the Drag Race that we've done and that I've just watched in my life, this is very much feeling like our Marvel DC coverage, where I talk a lot of the time about, we'll read something DC and you will be like, this is objectively bad. And I'll be like, right, but I super enjoyed it because I don't read DC, so I'm not mired in the badness, and I haven't been reading their good and their bad since the 80s. Where Marvel, if they do one thing wrong, I'm like, this is the worst thing I've ever read because I've read everything. I've watched too much Drag Race, and whenever anything bad happens, it's the worst thing I've ever seen because I've watched too much Drag Race. This, I really haven't seen that much, and so there were moments where I'm like, this is probably bad, but I am just having an absolute blast.
Yeah, I think for me, I'm the completionist on the panel. I'm the reason why, a lot of times they'll be like, well, Tori will join us in 7 weeks when she watches 840 episodes of the following. And this time I was like, I'm not doing that. I don't care. I've got the idea of it. I'm not going backwards. Who cares? And so I was really interested, also because this is the most modern reality competition show that I have watched outside of Drag Race since cycle 7 of America's Next Top Model. I'm not built for this. I don't understand. I spent the whole front half going, oh, so we don't all get intros. Oh, so some of us are worth a, this is your name, okay, bye. And then some of us get a whole spiel. I see it. I don't understand it. I can't wait to ask more questions. But this is, if any of you remember a lot of comics coverage or particular X-Men coverage, there's a lot of Tori doesn't go here. And so we are back to that square, that house today.
And fabulous house it is. I want to start out with, for those of you who don't know, Project Runway was the queer reality show when we didn't quite have queer reality shows yet. This bad boy started in 2003, 2004, something nuts like that. So long ago.
We only had 2 American Idols. What a world.
Yeah, right. And so Pruns has been on forever. The show was defined by its early winners and losers, like the season 1 Karasan, massive, oh my God, how much did the shoes cost? Versus, Jay McCarroll, who, season 1, Jay never won a challenge and then wins the season. And that's why this guy is always like, I don't know if somebody can win a season of something, but then you can. And he's always the first one to point it out. So we've watched a lot of.
They did that in the first season. In the first season, they said, ha ha ha, people who win the most don't win the whole thing.
So
that's a statement. That's a statement.
We don't have too much. We don't have time to get into it because we're talking about the new stuff. I recommend watching season 1 to understand why Karasan, who was the favored to win,
by far best
did
designer,
not win. There's a very specific reason why she could not win.
Shoes, baby!
She literally on air says, oh, I don't have a receipt for how much these shoes cost. And they're like, but it has to be factored into your budget. So they have on film her in a corner going, hey, can you just make up however much you want for the shoes to have cost so that I can have a receipt for this? And they don't eliminate her, but they don't give this super winner, this super queen, this woman who she's gone on to win Emmys for being the designer on the Descendants films. So like we are talking about a legend. And season 1, she is not the winner. Meanwhile, the actual person who should have won season 1 is Austin Scarlett. And we cannot get into Austin Scarlett right now.
So one thing I want to add to you, if Top Chef is the grandfather of reality shows, Project Runway is the grandmother. Those are the two Magical Elves productions that really started the reality competition show as we know it. The early seasons for those shows, a la so many things. We're gonna get into Utica. I'm sorry, Ethan. But it's those early seasons are so fascinating because that was during a time period where reality TV was not a thing. We barely maybe have just gotten the first season of Survivor. Like American Idol, like you said, was in its first 2 seasons in its infancy. So there's a level of, I'm not going to be a reality star. I'm a designer trying to win this competition. And you have people act in a way that's a lot more authentic. Not that I think people act in a show.
Isn't to say that you don't still have characters on shows like this. It's just people who act out on shows on this program and its spin-offs aren't acting out because they want to be reality stars usually. It's just, this is something that's a lot more relatable to what we all grew up with, which is the weirdo art kids. The ones who act out when it's this show, it's because this is just what all of our personalities are.
Yeah. I was talking to KEVO about this, and I said it's really interesting to see a group of people that make Utica look normal in the group.
Yes.
And this is a confident Utica.
Yeah. Utica's in a
understands
real
reality
spot.
television, and so she's people who've watched Drag Race kind of like see like this is not exactly how Utica acted on Drag Race. She came off a little more, starstruck girl from the young, small Midwestern town to the big city in LA. And now she's a little more seasoned when it comes to reality television, so she's a little more confident in ways. She is still nothing compared to some of these rabid people.
No.
I think she's also moved a little bit away from her being a Seventh-day Adventist. I mean, I guess we'll find out if she talks about it, but her life as portrayed through social media makes me feel like where when she started on Drag Race, she was like very much just coming. I mean, it's tough to be a Seventh-day Adventist and be gay, but she feels like she's in a very, very different place as a human. So I mean, it's very interesting to see her and very cool.
I also feel like these two twins should absolutely play vampire pirate bad guys in The Descendants.
Yeah.
As an Estrada.
I see that.
As
they
Estrada,
are cute
my family's
patoots.
last name. I just want to be very clear. These are all of my cousins. But I want to go a step further. There is a very central classic character to Project Runway mythos, and it's Andre. And Andre set the bar for dementia on this show. Like the designer delusion.
Yes. Cuckoo.
Super cuckoo.
He was a little cuckoo. He was very emotional.
But a hero, a true hero. And very talented. And to this day, super quotable. These two are not trying to be quotable, and that's why they're becoming quotable. Whereas Andre did not try to be quotable, and that's why he became quotable. I have a problem with Joseph McCrae. You have to say the McCrae. I'm sorry. I have not been this annoyed by somebody that quick off the bat since somebody said, "Excuse me, Boo Bear." Yes, pussy bitch. I mean,
it's just the way it's done. It feels like a trap, and it's not well explained, and it's weird to do it that way.
I mean, I was charmed by it until he
because
didn't.
You look great in that outfit. That's why.
I mean, I love him.
And
I would marry him in a heartbeat and let him design all my clothes. I really liked that he wanted to do that and that he was a little insistent on it. Like I thought it was brave to have the confidence to be a little bit difficult and ask people to say it right. But then immediately Heidi doesn't, and he stops. And by the next episode, they're spacing it out again, and he's not saying anything.
Yes.
So then it did feel like, and you know me, I would get annoyed by somebody being like that. But I liked the way he was particular until he just fully backed off. And then it just kind of felt like he wanted to see how much he could inconvenience people to be to see what his personality was going to be at the start of the show. And it is kind of like you guys said, like this is a serious show for serious people. So like it's sort of you can get away with being a personality, but it's never going to trump being really good at the job. And he is.
He's also very good at the job.
Yeah.
Well, I clocked this moment at Mood where it went by very fast, but he's correcting one of the people working at Mood and kind of antagonizing someone who works at Mood.
Right.
So I think it's a little bit,
NICO,
but like I said, he gave up. He gave up with Heidi. He chose not to snap at Heidi, where the twins both were fine snapping at every judge.
And I feel bad because I respect the branding, but it was the attitude that he was presenting it with that made it constantly feel like battle.
The way the twins came for Mama Roach, I'm sorry, Law Roach, let me tell you, that was, first of all, I love Law Roach's new face. She looks beautiful, she looks stunning, gorgeois, stunnois, and has every right to look however she wants when she spends so much time making the world look so beautiful. But let me tell you, that she also, I'm purposely cutting this because this was the same kind of, no, I am not going to back down. But instead of seeming like she was just trying to be particular, she had a point to make about being the only new judge.
Yeah, I mean, and as far as judges go, everybody, besides guest judges, like the regulars are usually designers, not stylists. And it's a very different thing. It's a very different perspective to come from because you might love something because you know how it's made and you know what the art is, but you might never buy it if your job is to assess it for somebody else and make that your job. I love that he's on there. I was a little bit fascinated by how horrible he was. I loved it. That's what I'm used to, but I was shocked because I was like, I think a couple of years ago, I guess he's taking a left turn to be on TV. He is not this mean on Drag Race, where I would think it would be a lot more acceptable to be I'm like, heterosexual women cannot handle how you're being right now.
No, that's par for the course for this show.
No. If you were used to shows like Drag Race, where Drag Race nowadays goes a lot more softer on the judging, they go, yeah, you didn't really kind of hit the mark. They try to be a little bit nicer about how they deliver things. They don't really berate people unless they massively mess up and try to not take accountability for it. Then the judges will go a little bit off. This show 20 plus years ago had Michael Kors on TV in 2003 to 4 saying slutty, slutty, slutty. She looks like a prostitute walking down 8th Street who just came from Soho. That he was literally,
I think it's supposed to come off, Nina.
The judges for this show categorically never had a problem shredding people. Like, for anything and everything, they give very brutal, and in the case of Law Roach, honest critique feedback. They will say, then sometimes it is kind of sucks a little bit to be like, oh, this person made a really bad outfit, and I wait to send them to watch them get berated down the line. And then, like, people cry, and then they judges are like, why are you crying?
Nina Garcia is very famous for, why are you crying? There's no
need to cry. It is just fashion.
She is my hero. She's the only person to be a regular in all 21 seasons. She is the only person to never leave. She's had a few seasons that she's missed a few episodes, but no, I really think that, and it's so interesting to hear you say that you would think that this show would be nicer to people. And I mean that, like, positive. Mm-hmm. I love that, like, the judging remains ferocious. The judging, one of the best things in the first 3 seasons is people having fights with the judges from the runway. And, like, there's this weird period where everybody's favorite fashion alien, Zach Posen, is going to show up, and he's gonna be in this season too. But when he was a judge, he used to literally go up to the models and start grabbing their dresses.
Yeah, this Am I Being Punked is not unusual.
No. This is par for the course.
I was also bummed. Sorry, go ahead.
No, you go ahead, TK, because I think I'm going to make this left.
Because we have watched seasons in the past where they have a break to go poke the models, which we can. Right. I do want to let Tori talk, but I know it is something that is on the agenda to talk about, which is like the show switches what happens in an episode and the format of an episode a lot of different seasons, but this feels like a pretty tectonic shift to move on to freeform for the first time.
Yeah, it does. It feels a little bit like it went from the mockumentary and Arrested Development to a season. I'm sorry, from the real world to a mockumentary Arrested Development style. Tori, lay it on me.
I will say I was not surprised that they were mean. I was surprised that I was actually I know enough about the fashion world to kind of keep an ear out for like how people behave and like what the general vibes are. And I walked into this being like, it is 2025, but it's still fashion. Let's see how this goes. I'm not expecting full Devil Wears Prada, like throwing things out the window kind of stuff. But I was kind of surprised that I didn't feel like anyone was being psychologically tortured at any point. I was surprised that they were kind. And then I was also surprised that Christian seemed a little, and I say this fully as only understanding Tim Gunn as a meme and an SNL skit, but it felt like Christian was a little mean as a mentor, and I don't love that. I need someone to be on the contestant side.
That's exactly what he sounded like when he was a contestant.
Please go, KEVO.
I don't disagree that he is kind of mean, but genuinely, he never gives feedback that isn't him trying to be constructive, isn't him trying to give his experience as a very celebrated winner, as someone who's been in the industry for 20 years. And I kind of feel like he gives lesbian gym teacher energy, where he just doesn't have a lot of patience because he deals with you middle schoolers all day, every day. And it's things like, my interns could make that skirt in 30 minutes. What do you mean that's all you're going to present? So it can be a lot. And I genuinely wonder what Tim Gunn would have been like at Christian's age, because Tim Gunn also definitely had his own level of severity, but we always thought of him as so avuncular, so grandfatherly, whereas Christian is a peer to us, basically. Plus, he's so tiny.
So the two big differences I really want to note is when Christian Siriano won, Christian Siriano was 21 and was genuinely a savant.
Yes.
He won season 4.
He was Doogie Howser of fashion.
At 21. He at that point had already had residencies and was taught from the House Couture in Paris. He like truly was a prodigy.
Yeah.
He just had a couple things he needed to refine.
Like his personality.
Correct. But the important thing...
And when is he starting that journey?
The two things I noticed that he's very distinct with as being a judge. The other thing is he also won the show. And he's been successful as a fashion designer.
Without a beat since
for 20 plus years since winning the show.
I would say he's one of the only names that I would recognize out of this show.
Yeah. The only other one would be Michael Costello. Probably.
Maybe.
Michael Costello. Because he was the one who got into all that drama with Chrissy Teigen.
But one of the reasons why I love Christian as a mentor is that Christian specifically gives advice and guidance in a way of saying, hey, what you're doing isn't the best. Try this direction, go this direction. Christian throws out random ideas and says, why don't we try this? Why don't you try that? Why are you doing this? Saying to Antonio, you're making your dress my intern can make in 30 minutes. I'm telling you this is not presentable to the judges. Amp it up. Tim, on the other hand, had a problem of, while he was very warm and way of trying to make sure that these people were feeling their best, he really gave a lot of vague critiques and didn't really... Tim Gunn, while an icon and a very important person, especially to the history of the show, isn't a fashion mogul, designer, icon, star. That's
Never
not who
had
Tim
a line. Never.
That's not who Tim Gunn was. Tim Gunn was a fashion teacher.
He's a teacher.
And he gives beautifully warm advice, but it felt a little vague and it felt directionless of like what they should actually be doing to change it. Christian tells them exactly what to do. He warns them, hey, the judges are going to call out this, don't do this. And then when they do it and the judges call it out, he sits there like, I literally told you not to do this. I literally told you this.
And I'll be interested to see if he gets the Siriano save back. He has the power to he and Tim Gunn have both had the power to uneliminate a contestant at will. they get one contestant, and they can only use it so far into the season. But as mentor, they get to say that somebody was cut too early. Kevo, would you go back 1 second? I just need to be clear about this motherfucking woman. I have been dealing with this sister for 2 seasons now, as we had her over on Dress My Tour with one of the most deserving winners in fashion history, by the way. Such a sweetheart.
But we do love VJ.
We
love
do
her.
love VJ. But
We
she
do?
is so
Fascinating.
particular.
She did not mention Dress My Tour.
She did.
Yes, she
she
did.
mentions it one time. She
Briefly.
said that she's a runner-up
Yep.
on Dress My Tour.
She's runner-up on Dress My Tour, as
She-
well as
Project Runway Philippines.
season 1.
That I remembered her mentioning. I
She said right
also had to Google it after because I don't feel like I heard her mention in the first episode that she's trans.
Yeah, she said that. Like,
Oh, I
she
saw
called
it in
somebody
an article.
I think she called somebody. I think she said that she's like a trans sister at some point.
But she
I know
doesn't.
it's happened, but
She does not say it like, hey, like when they're going over her rundown of her stuff.
No, they
I-
just they just refer to her.
Yeah, that was
Make
great.
a
I mean,
bigger
like,
deal about the fact that Anya had never sewn a dress.
In fairness, at least like we know something about her. There's a couple of these where I'm like, there's a person on that team, and I've never heard
Yeah.
them speak or
Yeah.
heard a word spoken about them. I don't know what's going
that
on.
hot boy
yes.
from Connecticut,
There's one from Connecticut.
Rhode Island, the hot boy
Yes.
from Rhode Island.
What I want to say, something you said earlier, Tori,
Rhode Island, Angelo, yeah.
is that
oh,
it feels weird
He gave
that
it-
we didn't get a lot of people's stories. A lot of people weren't even introduced in this first episode. One thing that I do love about Drag Race is that every girl, they get the entrance, they hit their mark, they have at least a minute or two specifically focused on them.
Yep.
It's really weird here, and I think a lot of my weirdness about this season comes down to editing choices. That's very weird that the final cut of the first episode doesn't have you introducing who these new contestants are.
First season that doesn't.
It's little
Really?
bizarre. It's one thing when you have a reality competition show, you kind of focus on the people who the episode is about, whether in the top or in the bottom. It's usually how things go, or someone is in drama. That's how a reality is formed. You're not going to focus on the person quietly making their outfit safe because they have nothing to do with what went on that week. That's not how
Right.
reality television works.
Unless you're Lego Masters.
But even then, Lego Masters has a problem of not introducing people to like the
Third
third or
episode.
fourth
Yeah.
episode, and it just becomes bizarre.
And that is a style where you'll get to everybody, but it's going to take you a few episodes. I sort of thought because this was a double release of the first 2 episodes, when we didn't have everybody on the first one, I thought we would start on the second one.
There's 12 people.
Yeah, it's not that, like, I thought they would do 6 and 6.
I also have to remember we only got 48 minutes of this. We're used to a 90-minute.
We're used
Drag
to
Race,
90-minute. Okay, this used to be 90 minutes long with a 40-minute follow-up called Models of the Runway that delved into the models.
Yeah.
Like, this is the shortest this has been since this guy graduated high school. This is so short.
I think it is broadly to the show's benefit.
Yes, thanks.
I think it makes sense in terms of keeping distracted eyes on the program as a whole. I think it's gonna make it a little difficult to follow. Are they blurring Utica's mouth there?
She said a curse.
she said the C word.
Okay. Oh, okay.
I don't think Kristen was prepared for it.
Yeah,
Neither
there's
was
a lot
Free.
of that. That's exactly what I'm talking about. I feel like she wouldn't have done that on Drag Race.
It's not that
it
kind of
is
gay space, Utica.
tough for falling in love with characters to go the entire way this episode is at, or this show is currently being broadcast. But I did notice that where at times it has felt a little bit insurmountable, episodes have felt a little bit insurmountable for me in the past. This moved at a good clip. I feel like maybe there's a balance that, like, because I could do with a little bit extra. I could have done with another 5 to 10 minutes of show, but I didn't hate everything about the editing. I understood what they were trying to do, and like I said, I do think it is to the benefit of getting people to watch Project Runway. Although I do think putting it on Freeform is maybe against that idea. So I don't really know what they're going for here. I hope this is
I think Freeform is a technicality. I think it has to air first for the tax breaks.
Right.
But the goal is really just to have it streaming on Hulu the next morning.
And I do hope that's a big part of it. It's very unfortunate now that we never know about those numbers. But I sort of once I saw that it was on Freeform, my first thought was like, well, okay, why would you not just put it on Hulu? And you're right. I'm sure it has something to do with actually putting it on a cable network. But I don't know. It's a very interesting thing. The show has bounced from a bunch of different networks. And, I was saying to Nico, the only thing that, because right now, fuck Skydance, but the only thing that sucks about it not having any association with a Skydance owned property is that the first thing you think of with Utica, and the first thing you think of with a lot of this show is how great it would mesh with Drag Race.
Yeah.
And exactly. While you can absolutely have people cross over, you can't have that be a partnership between World of Wonder and Spyglass, who is one of the companies that produces this. And it would be
just to that end. I want to say that I really want to thank Roscoe's for doing just really it moved me that Brooklyn and Utica are doing a Project Runway weekly watch party.
Oh, cool.
And
I didn't know
Roscoe's is really putting it out there and being a voice for the fandom and giving us somewhere to be cohesively gay together.
To be fair, they also don't have a watch party right now. They don't have a Drag Race watch party, so it benefits it's a good way to make $1. And I love that. It should benefit everybody.
What I love a lot of post-production decisions.
The lower thirds have been great
because two things. I learned that the little bar information under someone's name called the Chiron, and I love that they radically keep changing everybody's Chiron. KEVO has a screenshot of it, but when Jesus is trying to tell Christian that VJ is just being standoffish and not really communicating with the team, and Jesus says Miss Thing, and then her name says Miss Thing, it is truly the funniest thing in the entire world. They just do that for everything. There's one where it's Jesus is trying to fight with Utica, and Utica's unbothered and moisturized. There's a lot of fun things that I'm really enjoying as a viewer from those post-production decisions, but there are just some things I can't really abide by. It feels like they were trying to make this match a lot of other reality competition shows, but one of the things that the dedicated fan base of Project Runway enjoys is specifically seeing the artistic process of watching these people make these outfits. I felt like there was a lot less time focused on that compared to drama, and drama is fun and all. I had a great time watching it, but I want to see the hallmarks of the things I've enjoyed about Project Runway in the past is seeing the creative vision process, seeing these people really go into detail of why they're doing this, why they're sewing it this way, what stitch they're doing.
I was actually going to say, specifically the thing I miss is that I'm sewing it this way. Here's what I'm doing. I'm using a double lace front, and then getting that exploration that you kind of can't get on Drag Race, because the challenge isn't about the people's skill set. It's about a new skill set. This is about using your skill set in a particular way. And so, because everybody has the same skill set. Pattern making, dresses, seamstressing, these concepts. And I'm so glad you pushed it to the fashion, because the thing I want to start with this episode, let's talk about shape and volume. This premiere had so much shape and volume control. There was a conversation in the movement of these outfits, something that everybody this season is thinking about very clearly. Is a YouTube sense of what films well and what doesn't. Previous seasons, we had people make things that they're it looks so pretty. And I'm okay, but it walks like a fucking brick. This was an episode where every look moved. The thing that I thought was kind of a problem was, dream come true for us that this was all Disney, that it was actually Disney. But I feel like nobody embodied the identity of Disney, in part because that pattern was absolutely a mistake. On Team Princess, the butterflies were not okay. Number one, not since Asia O'Hara has there been a butterfly massacre on a reality program quite like this. Number two, the House of Villains really worked with the identity of shape within a group for cohesion, but then one thing that I lost was the identity of each look compared to each other. So I'm glad House of Villains won, but I remember everything in House of Princesses better.
Do you remember it more clearly?
Yes. I don't remember liking it better. I remember.
Yeah, I was gonna say,
clearly.
like,
it's a rush of blood to the head versus parachutes.
Well, you know, remembering it more clearly, it can be a curse when it's bad, which a lot of it was. And you know, I mean, I hear what you're saying, and it's also another interesting part of this show, which is like they don't like to talk like anything falls in the middle. There's only two groups. And so one group inevitably has to be the group that didn't win, but they talk about it. And this is Drag Race does this too. It's a reality TV thing. They talk about it like the second group failed and the first group passed.
Real Kevo, could you just go back to Lyris for 1 second? I just need to be very clear with you all. This woman right here is the Snatch Game of Drag Race for Project Runway. She is a Project Runway institution, and she has been a model in multiple seasons.
So, okay. So, please go, Kevin.
I also just want to respond to TK. I agree, and I even feel like something happened in this or the second one, I think, that proved the exception of the rule, where they said to someone who was on either the winning or losing team, they were like, "Yeah, you don't belong with the rest of your team." Yeah, but that's how this works.
Yeah, it was Utica.
So it's
Utica got the you were amazing in a shitty group, and one of the twins got you were shitty, the shittiest, but you happened to be saved by your group.
Yeah,
that was the one where they felt the need to pick at him and wanted to see what his reaction would be, didn't get anything, and let him walk off stage. But overall, yeah, it is usually very binary.
Yeah, Project Runway is no stranger to doing that, and it's truly love them for it. So, Tori, you mentioned before talking about how the models used to be an important part of the show. They used to be. There was a period of time where the models, it was a secondary competition for the models who would get a full photo shoot spread in Elle magazine if they were paired with the winning designer. Now, how it's a competition for them when they have no control over anything?
Right.
No idea, because you can only sell a garment so much. That being said, in season 16, which is the last season before they rebooted, what I loved about season 16 is they gave the models a little camera room where they were looking at the outfits and they would talk about the things that they enjoyed about it, or saying, "Hey, I don't know if this fits me that well. I can see there's a couple problems here. I don't think it's going to go well." Lyris was introduced to us in season 16 and she was a goddamn star.
Superstar.
I love Lyris. I'm so happy that she's back. Because in season 17, when it rebooted, they didn't really bring any of the models back, but we got a couple of them that we were in love with. And then they did that a little bit more with 18, 19, 20, got a little bit, but I'm so happy that Lyris is back. But there used to be a much more larger focus on the models. I feel bad saying it for this way, for no reason. What they did in season 16, great. Having them talk about how the outfit actually felt to wear, I think was a really important step that I think was missing in previous seasons, because we, the audience, could only see it. We can only see visually what it looks like and how it walks. But part of the element of fashion is, how do you feel in it? How does this garment make you feel? And hearing the person wearing the clothes, who has to walk it, who has to sell it, their feelings about it, I think was a really beautiful step that I wish they would bring back. I want to hear, like, Lyris was just enjoyable to listen to. I could listen to her talk all day.
I am known as the Naomi of plus.
The plus size Naomi Smalls.
I actually really did want to hear from her, because the one moment that really pissed me off with La Roach was talking about her breasts. And again, it was a moment where it's kind of the reverse of what I was saying before. La has to put garments on women who are going to probably, for the most part, want to wear them supported and are going to want a certain look. Expecting fashion and expecting women's breasts to look a certain way and to be so negative about it when it wasn't like, oops, forgot to put a bra on her, like forgot to have support. He was clearly going for a look, and like it just felt like a very dicey moment for somebody to for a male body person who does not have breasts to talk about them in the way that Law was. And it was kind of a moment that I was like, there's like 4 different factors and like people factors to this conversation, including Lyris's, including like, is it actually comfortable? How would this be comfortable to wear? How is it comfortable to have your breasts out like this versus to have them, supported in some way? And it was a moment that really stood out to me as like, there's a lot more going on here. And it just kind of, including for Jesus, who took a beating that episode, partially deserved, partially I didn't feel as deserved. And it just like, I thought he made a really bold, respectful of women's bodies and loving of women's bodies choices. And it sucked that nobody brought anything into that particular critique.
It was something that I found so interesting in this moment where he sort of tries to come at Heidi a little bit.
Yeah.
And is like, oh, you think that's good? And Heidi's like, yes. And
Yeah.
he sort of demurs.
Yeah.
And, it's a lot. He's getting into the feel of this job.
Yeah.
But yeah, that is a huge factor. That was something I really thought about too. And I really agree that what I really love most is a diversity of opinion from people, because that is something that is such a huge factor about fashion, because there are so many different opinions. It wasn't the premiere, but the second episode where it was the guest judge was saying positive things and kind of getting a little bit mean girled by the judges.
She was like, okay, I hear you, but I don't agree. I would totally wear this. And I'm like,
well, and again, kind of like Law, it's like, she's actually going to buy it. Like, you guys, again, exactly. I get what you're saying. These might be bad as craftsmen, and there might be a lot of reasons why they're bad, but she's going to purchase it, and like purchasing again for a line, to sell to a lot of people, not in Law's case, to put on a particular person, both of which are completely valid ways to look at fashion and purchase fashion, but like 2 hugely different perspectives, because you might think, okay, I've got 15 clients, I can't put this dress on any of them. But you would also think, I have thousands of clients in my store. Yeah, I can sell this to hundreds of them, and that's enough to get me out the door. I mean, it has been a really fascinating diversity of perspectives. And then again, that Law would be somebody who would style Heidi. So for him to say that, like, to question her is both like, of course, you know a lot about fashion, you have modeled, and you have opinions, and they're so mean. This is great, these two. But yeah, just overall a very fascinating bunch of back and forths. And I really liked that they talked about the fact that they all outvoted Law. Law got the chance to talk about his unagreed with opinion. He was very, very harsh. It's just a wild bunch of stuff.
I want to be clear, that is actually like, okay, and so Mary, can somebody get Mary's comment up on the screen? Okay, so Mary's comment of, I'm glad glasses is gone. I just need to be
Brandon.
clear. That literally ties into exactly what TK was just saying. Because Brandon Maxwell was always okay to have a fucking fight with Nina Garcia on the runway.
Yep. Oh, Brandon Maxwell, yeah.
Yeah. And so, like, one of the things that, like, when I'm thinking about this show, I really did love the way that the judging went, because something that Law said I really appreciated was that Law was like, you did kind of not care about your team, Ethan.
Yeah, it's Utica. No, he was way harsher than that. He was like, you knew you did well, and you didn't. He did not say kind of. He fully, that was a hardline accusation, which I don't necessarily think was wrong.
I don't think it was wrong either. And like, so first of all, I swear to God, Mary, if this isn't the only athleisure challenge this season, I'm going to lose my mind. They just can't handle athleisure. It's never a good challenge. By the way, it's such a talented group of designers. With Sophia
Vergara. We're going to get a second athleisure challenge this season?
I'm hoping we don't.
With 10 episodes, I can't imagine.
Oh my God. Okay. However, Mary, what were your opinion on the original twins? I need to know your opinion on the original twins. Boo Bear.
Well, okay. Tori, season 16 is infamous.
I explained a little bit.
For prior to Sugar and Spice having aesthetic twins compete against one another. And this was a reality stunt because they were not really good seamstresses or designers.
But they were friends with Katy Perry.
They were friends with Katy Perry, so they're probably evil.
They also didn't want to compete against one another. They
No,
were one
it was-
person.
There was a lot of shenanigans going on in season 16 that like took away a lot from what
The show.
The show felt like the competitive. Season
hurt
16
the
is
show.
wild.
Yep.
Like if you want to watch, it's not really a good season of Project Runway,
No.
but it's a very wild season. Like things just happen.
I explained that it was the season that made Tim Gunn give up on society.
Yes. There's also a
Oh,
contestant.
boy.
I won't say why, but is talking about music he composed. He did it for something. And he literally says to Tim Gunn, I've composed this piano piece by finding a dead cat in the wild and
I
burying it in the
composed this
ground
when I found a dead cat and buried it.
and put my ear to the ground to listen to it. And Tim just stares at him and just goes, okay. And it's truly
Magic.
He's got nothing. He's got
Oh.
no. For a man who always has a response.
truly I have no idea how to respond to this person.
How do we feel about double pork chop? How do we feel for Casey?
Okay.
Iconic.
Iconic. Double pork chop. Let me say that first of all, she should be hosting the after show.
Not for the show, actually. No, it's a little unfortunate.
I was gonna say, I was like, usually being first out's not a great idea.
Actually, on this show, first out, it turns out can get you brought back the next season.
Oh,
So like, it's not a bad thing to be first out on
Okay.
Project Runway.
prior to the returning contestant for season 3, who was originally on season 2 of Drag Race,
Shangela?
yes, I was trying not to say their name.
Project Runway literally did it first.
Project Runway had Daniel Franco.
Daniel Franco, where did you go?
No.
Season-
That's Santino's fault.
Santino sings a lot.
yes. Before Santino Rice was a judge and then a juice bar attendant, he was a contestant on
Oh,
Project
right.
Runway.
Oh, he was a contestant?
Yeah.
Yes.
Right, but he can't win. Got it.
And he
it.
gets
Right.
into like a number of famous
Yes.
fights with the judges.
But he's also,
Horrible.
unfortunately, very
Memeable.
entertaining.
Memeable.
It's very memeable.
What's the matter with Andre?
He's one of the most memeable and least actually violent villains of reality television.
Yes, he was just aggressive and loud.
And rude, but
And rude.
he never really did anything diabolical. He was a lot more Loki-ish than anything else.
Mary, your comment is very accurate. And yeah, he is more Loki-ish because Jeffrey's the devil. So, I want to bring it back to this season, and something that I really did love about this season was this first 2 episode premiere. I love that I did not call what the judges were going to think every time. I don't agree with some of the stuff that was on the top. Joseph McCrae is very talented, but I do not know a single woman that would work out in that outfit. That was nuts. That was nuts.
I'm going to say something controversial and brave and deluded. Utica should have won both weeks. Utica won week 1, hands down, deservedly. Then she should have won again this week. I'm sorry, that look was the best look that
That
they...
was.
And I go ahead.
Oh no! I was going to go into a breakdown of how they all fucking failed at this. Utica's was
Well-
at least nice. Like Utica's
that's
could have
the-
been in an Olympic uniform.
That's the thing. You said the judges aren't torturing the contestants. Actually, we are torturing the contestants. They hate working on teams. Every single season, every single group always hates it and complains every single time, and they still make them do it every single time because they hate it. So
And
they
because
are
it's the real
actually
world.
torturing.
I don't think it's because they hate it. I think it's because they know that it's the fastest way to showcase drama, get interpersonal relationships started, and generally make people mad for no good reason.
And unless you own your own line, you're going to be working with 10 designers on a team, working for another designer, giving you an insane set of requirements. Like,
Yeah.
make athleisure wear with these 6 patterns.
Oh,
I-
they left him.
I would also say that some of them were successful looks that were like that you would wear to like the ESPN awards. Do they call those the ESPYs? Sure.
Yeah.
Probably.
But like a lot of these, like the dress with all the lacing, I was like, oh, I could see like a WNBA star showing up to that in the ESPYs. Like that'd be hot as fuck. Great idea. Like
Yeah.
some of these are even tunnel looks for basketball, football, baseball, that kind of stuff. And some of them are just did not fit the brief. and also couldn't work out in them for love nor money. Couldn't work out in them.
And so for me, the thing I wanted,
I don't know who's working out in a 700-pound coat. I don't
Thank
know.
you, Joseph.
Joseph,
Look at him. He's
Joseph's
doing
stuff
it.
is
Look at him.
gorgeous, but I think the man doesn't know what sweat is. Also, if she's not a lesbian, I'd like to put in an order to God. Please. Please.
I will
Good
say,
for
I
you.
do think the kind of unspoken thing about this challenge that should have really been spoken is that a lot of people wear athleisure that are never going to work out. And it is, you want to look good, but you want to wear stretch fabric. You want to wear, sweat wicking fabric, even though you're not actually going to like practically sweat. There's a lot more to athleisure in 2025 than having a practical yoga pant for doing yoga. And it's why I really love the looks. You're right that Utica should have won, and Utica's actually is one of the closer ones to actually something that you could fully work out in. But Joseph's is much more in that thing. I mean, Joseph's is almost to the point where like you couldn't wear it just to go to Whole Foods and strut. But it is gesturing at that idea that a lot of people put on athleisure just to go to Whole Foods, just to run errands, and they want to look hot as fuck. And I think the prompts would have been better to sort of mention that, because everybody's 100% right. I think the majority of these you could not be active in any kind of like real sportsman way. Tori, you're absolutely right insofar as like some of them are fashion that you would wear to awards about athletics. And some of them again are just like things that you could wear like to look hot somewhere.
Serving
but that
Wigan
is now
Wegmans.
that's now what all of athleisure is. And they sort of talk about it like you would actually wear these to do the yoga that we're making you do. That's weird and not correct.
Yeah,
and
not correct.
In which case everybody failed. And it just, I don't know. I really liked the challenge. I really liked how they executed it, but I did notice specifically like, Joseph's is absolutely not athleisure wear for any kind of practical athletics, but it fits the bill of what athleisure components do.
It seemed like they wanted, athleisure, at least from the way that the show is presenting what they were looking for in the top people, was you're giving the idea of you're working out, but you're not actually working out.
Right.
It's like you said, TK, it's you're going to Gelman's, you're going to get one of those like $20 smoothie bars from
You're a Sweet Green.
Erewhon.
Yeah.
Erewhon. Thank you.
Yeah.
Erewhon, you want an Erewhon? Like the
I'm
idea.
cool.
But I guess part of the problem for me is they were also like, and it has to transition to her being able to go out at night. If someone is specifically going out at night and like they're going to a party, they're going to a club, they're going to a bar, they're going anywhere, they're not wearing an athleisure look. So in my brain, it felt a little weird to be like, it's part of the prompt is she has to be able to work out in it and then immediately go out for the night. That's weird. None of these beautiful women are not going home to shower. They're going home to shower.
Yeah.
Laura Roach very crudely said, "Don't piss on me and tell me it's raining." Don't piss on us and tell us it's raining. You want us to swallow the idea that these women are going to go work out and then go to the bar. Maybe like a smoothie bar, but like no one's that's not and that's why I included the images that were shown at the beginning from when they introduced the company owner in the first place. So I was like, what of these items are you telling me are ready to go out and go out clubbing either? I don't know. Not quite sure.
I definitely feel like this is not a world in which any of these clothes would be something that you wear to work out and then go straight to the club in. I do think possibly since we are recreating 2005 out there right now, I think we might start seeing a lot more athleisure in the club. I think Juicy Couture is here. I think
okay.
To all have all of this come back, and some of it I think was really solid. Like, I'm gonna pretend like I was just at playing tennis and now I'm out at the beach bar kind of stuff. Like I could see some of this being at the Hamptons.
Cunty well
kind of
Luigi on the sidelines of
things.
Mario Tennis.
Yeah,
I
I don't
would
know
be
why
so-
someone is wearing mesh under a bathing suit top, but I give them props for trying to create a sports bra.
Yeah.
I just want to put out there really quick with Joan up there. This is the first time there has been a contestant over the age of 40 where they haven't made a big deal about how the person is actually a reanimated skeleton. Project Runway has this
Because
horrible
they're scared
habit.
of her.
Yeah, Project Runway points at old people and makes them feel terrible about being beautiful and vibrant.
I will say they were very nice to Renee on season 17.
Yes.
They did eliminate her. Sorry, sorry to spoil if people haven't seen 17. Renee was very eliminated dirty because someone had immunity that week and they should have been sent home, but it's fine. It's fine. I'm not mad about it. I'm not mad about this beautiful 60-year-old woman who's a great designer from Philadelphia who was eliminated unjustly.
And she had like 8 kids.
She had like 8 kids. She was great. I loved her.
Amazing. We loved her. All our
Anyway.
hearts. Also, yes.
But you're also not
Thank you,
wrong.
Mary.
This show,
That's true.
oh, would now be a good time to talk about the eliminations?
Oh, yeah. I just want to say, Joe, I'm going to read it the way that it should be read, Joe 90210. I just want to be clear that, yeah, everybody loves the show, but let's get to the business. We hate these eliminations in the next... who came up with this?
Deeply confusing. As someone who is like, blah, 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 oh, let me go get something while they're lining up to get back on the stage and get told who they are. And then all of a sudden it goes, previously on. And I went, wait, oh, no, I missed it. Let me go back. I literally went back to the previous episode, fast forwarded all the way to the last 2 minutes, then went, well, where the fuck is the answer? I was so mad. And then I was like, oh, well, maybe it's a 2-part thing. Like, ooh, ooh. And now I'm just mad. This is a bad idea for everyone.
Once is an instance, twice is a production decision.
Oh, no.
Whoever on production decided that, I'm sorry, you should be fired.
TK seems to like it.
No.
TK likes
no.
it.
Why? No, I want to
Right.
hear why. I want to hear why.
Let him cook.
For one thing, again, this is like if we want people to watch this show, it's a sneaky, shitty tactic. Don't get me wrong. But if you get 5 more eyes on this because they go, oh shit, I gotta watch the next one, you technically did your job. You guys are not gonna not watch it because of this. And I think in general, that's the fan. The real question is, and this is the thing, I didn't get to bring this up, but I kind of did when we were talking about, that idea of like, we're seeing less of the craft and we're seeing less of the people being like, I'm sewing it this way because, this is how I'm doing it. The question is cutting out some of that and moving the show along a little bit gonna grab new viewers? And is it going to repel viewers like you? What is the net gain or save going to be on this show? And I think the choice to do the eliminations this way is another risk with that. I like that they're taking some big swings and risks and trying to do the show a little differently to see what they can get for an audience in the very difficult world of 2025. I lovingly have to watch this show for you guys and for the show that we do. So I sort of like that, knowing that no matter what, I'm going to watch it. I sort of like the suspense of like, well, now there's a little treat that I get at the beginning of the next episode. I get the dopamine rush of fulfilling what the question was that was asked at the end of the last episode, who's going home. I don't know if that's going to work for casual audiences. I do think it's going to work for people like you guys who are going to watch the show no matter what. So this is going to be a really fascinating one to see how it bears out for building a new audience on a new network in the year of our Lord 2025.
I'm saying as a non-casual viewer, this is something that would have turned me off to a new season. We're covering it, like you said, for the show, so they have me for my job. But if they didn't have me for my job, I might have checked out because of this and not necessarily watched this season live because I find it very frustrating. Tori, as our guinea pig who's new to all of this, how did it make you feel?
So basically, once I figured out that this is real and this is happening and this is not normal, my first thought was this is going to backfire so spectacularly they don't even know yet.
Yeah.
Because you are putting the news cycle into the fandom's hands. You're not running the news cycle after every episode. And I just realized you're ruining the news cycle for your eliminated queen, your eliminated contestant. Your eliminated contestant is never going to get a week where everyone's like, oh my God, we're so sad. Because every week they get eliminated at the top. And at the end, there's a new question of who should home, not who did go home and isn't that sad. You've ruined 2 news cycles. You put them both in the fandom, and fandom is notorious, no matter where you are, of guessing a better ending than you could ever possibly give them. And I think it's a bad idea. I understand where TK's coming from on the numbers game. I think it's going to piss off more people on the inside than it's going to pull in from the outside, and you're not going to get the 10 poll to get you to the presidency.
It works for traders, would be my thought. It works for traders pretty well.
Built into
but
it.
Traders is also a purely social game. It has nothing to do with talent. Talent people go in on.
And I guess the question is, you're right. Like, so the news cycle, the discussion cycle for the week becomes everybody talking about who they think should go home. And you're 100% right that people are going to write the better story.
Oh, yeah.
The viewers are always going to write the better story. This could be a question of better for them to be talking about it, whether it's good talking about it or bad talking about it, than not talking about it at all. They absolutely don't care if the contestant doesn't have the news cycle. That's not their problem. That's the contestant's problem. They're not trying. I mean, they're not trying to help them out is basically what I'm saying. But I know people love their contestants and producers are not trying to hurt them. But with a whole season wrapped up, are people going to have enjoyed that experience? I think, Tori, your point is more compelling, and if we were judging a debate, I'd give it to you. But I do think there could be this factor of like everybody turned out to have really enjoyed how it went, and it becomes how they do it. It's just going to be really fascinating to see after the season is over what the viewership looked like, what the response rate looked like, what the numbers are 2 weeks later of people who binge the whole thing, and how ABC and Spyglass Media decide they want to do future seasons. Like, are we going back to every year for this? Is this 2 years?
Please.
I just have so many questions.
I love Melania.
I love Melania, who has no social media presence except for her company. She has no personal social media presence, which I think is very, very cool. I think she might be the only contestant. And I think that is Google her, Melania Day.
VJ thinks VJ is the only contestant as well.
I think VJ thinks VJ is the only person
on the planet.
Pure solipsism.
She's Miss Thing.
I think she might think that everybody else is just an AI generated NPC for the world that she is living in. And you know what? If that gets you through the contest, he's so handsome. I can't get over it.
Oh my God, very handsome. But that's coming with a lot of things. Very handsome people. Yeah,
I could tame him. I could make it work. I love him.
Okay.
I would marry him.
To what you were saying about traders sometimes not showing who gets eliminated that episode, what I want to say to that is traders started that way.
They're not flipping the script.
They're not changing the formula. When you change the formula, you get a different equation. That's math for you. That's science for you, baby. But you're not wrong that they could do that, and they are trying something new. And in a way, in 2025, I applaud them for trying to do something new and take a big swing. For this type of competition show, I just don't think it works. It just feels weird. It feels like, because we're not, like, it's kind of just like Tori said, I want to just echo that. We're not talking about the eliminated person. We're coming up with our own theories. And then it's, all right, is this person going to be eliminated, or are they not? Who is it actually going to be? I want to see this person more. Imagine if Drag Race did that. Those queens I'd probably be pissed at the queen.
Yeah, I mean, they would, and that's Tori's point about like it fucks the contestant over is a huge one. But again, the network doesn't care about that. I will actually be fascinated if somehow this turns out to have been a great idea for ratings. I would hate to see Drag Race do it. but I would be fascinated because it really would fuck the girls over. And you rely on your elimination week for so much stuff. And I would, I would hate to see the experiment because it would kill a season of girls who had to live through it. But I would love to see the experiment because, I mean, fascinating stuff happens in those weeks for the girls. Fascinating stuff happens on social media, at Roscoe's. And the way that we talk about them in that week is really, really big. And I know Rue wouldn't care if it were better for the ratings.
Yeah.
I could really see Drag Race doing it. And I would just be fascinated to see what the world looked like when that was happening, but I would never wish it on a queen.
I think that you kind of highlighted a reason why it's possible here and not really as possible on Drag Race by saying you couldn't really find anything on Belania. Some of these people live on social media, some of these people don't. And because it is such a different industry, talent pool, all of that, I think you can't lock down those girls on Drag Race. You just literally can't. But with these people, I think in this instance, you will actually in this week end up looking for as much as you can about those 3 people who are up for elimination, looking at their social media, trying to scrutinize. You can get stuff from them on Drag Race. You can figure stuff out. So you would be scooped by next Friday if you were trying to do that type of investigation on Drag Race. But on this, I think they can really get away with you not being able to figure out or know who it's going to be until next week. So you're looking at those 3 designers in this week in between. That's like the best argument I can probably make for it. It's all still very weird and very frustrating as a fan. But, we don't know how long houses are going to last. We don't know if this is going to be every single elimination or if it is just going to be up front. So, we're all along for the ride, seeing what is even going to happen. So many things are in such a state of renewal right now, and Project Runway is one of them.
I am so eager to see how this season shapes out. We got 10 designers after this. I do agree, Mary. I do think Alex is staying. At least I'd like to see Alex stay. I'm really enjoying things. Tori, tell me, give me your closing thoughts. Tell me how you feeling about jumping on.
I feel like in watching the show that I am prepared. I am ready for it. I'm good to go. I think because I don't know like what the challenges are or what's coming up, I don't really have a whole lot of understanding of like where the pitfalls will be, where the excitement is. Like if someone's like, oh, they do evening wear all the time, like is there always an evening wear challenge kind of deal? Like I don't know what's coming. I don't know what's up. So I feel very open and excited.
The very first challenge was produce, if that gives you any context for what you can expect in terms of anything.
The first ever challenge was unconventional materials.
I was going to say, I'm really hoping we get an unconventional materials because I feel like some of these people don't work outside of organza.
We will guaranteed get one. They always have one.
Uh-huh. There's usually a design for a celebrity. There's usually an evening wear challenge. There will always be a brilliant avant-garde challenge. There's usually some sort of technology challenge. There's usually a museum challenge.
I imagine they moved out. I imagine they don't. Well, because models were so important, I imagine they've never done like a full like, hey, we're doing plus size challenge, or hey, we're doing. Okay.
We call it you know how Drag Race has makeover challenges? Mm-hmm. We have real women challenges, which will have women of various shapes and sizes come in, and you have to make them beautiful fashion models.
You have to make them, and like when they do they did one that was Christian's only ever bottom placement on the show was designing a prom dress for a plus size girl who like chewed him out on the runway.
That's wild. He's the number one for plus size gals in the red carpet these days, isn't he?
He was.
Yeah, so he learned.
like literally
at that point.
And like it was
He
like
learned a lot from that
eye-opening.
experience. She changed her mind constantly. So like, yeah, it illustrated where he had a lot to learn, and also illustrated his lack of patience for middle schoolers.
There was once a contestant that was like, I have trouble designing for plus size models. And Nina Garcia was like, then you're a fool and a moron. Because there are far more women that are bigger sizes than a 2 than there are 2s in the world. So if you can't do that, you're the problem. And like Tim goes into the workroom the next time and is like, hi, I need to have a conversation with you guys about how horrible you are. And like...
it goes into Tori, there used to be, you had a model and you stuck with that model throughout unless something happened, like somebody swapped or whatever.
Oh, it's a motherfucking walk-off.
They changed that to then be random draw, so you never know exactly who you're going to get from the models that they have contracted for that episode. So one episode you might have Lyris and you might have dress for a plus-size girl. Another episode you might get, I don't think she was in this episode, but one of the models we love, Mimi. Mimi was the first trans model from season 17 who we adore, but Mimi has a very typical model body. She's very slim, she's very slender, and like that's something that some designers might be a little more comfortable use for. So like you never know who you're specifically going to have as your model going into the challenge. You get your card and you'll have the measurements, but you don't get to pick before. Like you can't say like, I worked there last week, I'm doing it again this week. That's not how it works.
Okay.
Also, Mary, you are correct that the men's challenges are always a flop.
Yes.
We get men's?
Always a flop.
Yeah.
Yep.
There were
Always a flop.
There will usually be one menswear challenge, and unless the person has experience in menswear,
Flop.
majority of the time they're flops.
Flop.
It's bad.
I mean,
And-
suits are
and it's
difficult.
bad.
Suits,
It's
their
like
suits
you've
are
never
a
seen a
lot.
penis.
And there's only so much you can do with men's fashion. I want to phrase that as masculine fashion and feminine fashion, because clothing doesn't have a gender. You can wear whatever the fuck you want.
Mm-hmm.
When it comes to designing clothes for typical masculine sized bodies and masculine aesthetics, they usually have no idea what to do.
None.
And it often is a lot of flop tinas.
I just want to point out one of my favorite things ever, though, was a bunch of female contestants got mad at a man for bringing in his own clothes to trace to make a pattern one time. They were like, you can't do that. And the judges were like, actually, you can. You ladies could do that for women's wear. You just can't make the same item, but there's no reason he can't.
Make a pattern.
Yeah, and so...
We all learned.
God, I'm so happy this is back. TK, how did you feel about your first new live real-time episode?
And
yeah, like I said, I there's a lot here that I think is working that made it enjoyable to watch. And while I have been fascinated by previous seasons, I think without you guys, because it's very little that I've watched without you guys present. And I think without you guys there for the previous stuff, I would have been a little bit bored. I think it might have felt like it was going on a little long. I do remember a few episodes of season 20 did feel that way because I didn't watch all of that with you guys. And this just kind of flew by. Now, everybody here has made some fascinating points about the double-edged sword of a lot of the stuff that I liked. And I have questions about what it's going to be like to be a fan of this show starting from my place, where, like, you know, there's kind of probably a lot about fashion that I'm never going to hear because they are cutting it out. And not that that makes me less of a fan, but am I getting less bang for my buck out of this show than I could be really getting to understand these people's process? So, you know, I had a lot of fun, which is awesome, and I hope to have a lot more. I'm very fascinated by the business side of this and the number side of this, which is really cool. And now I'm sort of wondering if another side that I could be really enjoying and getting educated on is the actual fashion side. And maybe I'm missing that, and that, you know, to fail at giving that to your audience could really bring the grade down on the show as a whole when we get to the end of the season. So it'll be very interesting to see where we end up.
I love that because I do feel the same way. The fashion is part of my favorite part. Also, Mary, to your point, the fashion challenge for the drag queen challenge, I specifically think about Chris March. Yeah. Oh, what a loss. What an unfair loss in this world. Because he is literally why to this day I say, let's go. So he was a big, beautiful drag queen who competed and then came back to host the drag challenge.
Yeah, if either of you two need an episode to go watch season 5, that was a drag race, drag queen challenge, because there was no drag race yet. Has RuPaul as a guest judge, and it has a very iconic, scary image of her. But as Mary pointed out, has someone we know and had just recently seen. Acid Betty was one of the drag queens that got an outfit for that episode.
Shit. Yeah, there's I think the season 4 winners in there too.
Yeah, that's
No.
It's not.
It's
the
a
winner.
different queen with that name. That is not season 4 winner.
Yeah,
there's just a New York queen named Sharon Needles.
Sherry Vine's in there too. I saw that.
Yeah, Sherry Vine is also in there, and Hedda Lettuce. There's a couple of, like, if you know New York nightlife, if you are a little bit more familiar, you know some of these people, which is really cool.
Yeah, I just anyway, I love this show. This was my first real reality show. It was this and Big Brother, and I really loved Janelle. Sorry about it. But anyway,
You're a traitor, bitch.
You're the traitor, bitch. You're the biggest traitor here.
Drink your water, you liar.
I want to correct you. This is your first reality competition along with Big Brother, because your first reality show, like everybody our age, was
it addressed
The
to
Real
you?
World.
Was it addressed to you? Don't open mail that isn't addressed to you, you stupid bitch.
Stupid bitch.
So don't ever forget The Real World did it all first.
You're right. I how could I not? I mean, because like really, sometimes I think about it, and like my first news program really was like, say like the news show that made you awake and blah 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 blah, and like no, it really was Nick News with Linda Ellerby.
Literally.
And then you graduate to Kurt Loder.
Exactly. I used to say that I learned news
barely
from
know her.
MTV. Oh, I love it. Okay, Kevo, Jonah. What you guys got? Final thoughts. I've said everything I can care to say. I'm so happy.
Would you like to go, Mr. Producer?
Sure. Nico, I remember 17 years ago sitting in our Disney College programming apartment watching the season 4 finale and Christian Siriano winning. I very vividly remember that in that little computer alcove, watching from our kitchen, having no real concept of what I was watching.
Just me sobbing.
But, now, God, we've come so far, and this is such an odd show that has transformed itself in so many more ways than Drag Race, and yet has been around so much longer, and yet is only on season 21. What a weird, strange show to have it back in this form, on such an accessible platform. Thank you, Hulu. This is a lot. It's different. It's fun. I'm excited to see where this goes. I'm so glad that we have this team to talk about it. So different from talking about our season 20 coverage 2 years ago. So weird that both this and Strange New Worlds come back 2 years later. Go check out our Strange New Worlds coverage as well. We're going to be talking about this. We're going to be talking about that. We're going to be talking about so many fun things for the rest of this summer, and I'm excited. Speaking of Flames, check us out at FlameCon next month. If you're going to be in the New York City area, it is an amazing LGBTQ Comic-Con, and we're going to have a panel there. We're going to have a table there, and so I'm excited about all of these things. Happy Flame and Summer.
Awesome. Jonah, what are your final thoughts on the episode?
Happy it's back. Happy Heidi is back. I don't mind the editing. I can use a scooch more about the actual designs. And, get rid of the teams. Stop with the teams. What? I want to see their actual designs. Stop it. No more. No.
I guess my closing thought is if they were talented designers, their aesthetic would come through even on a team. Oh, because I can still tell you what each one of the Spice Girls sounds like. Sorry about it.
Well, here's the thing. They're never going to eliminate someone who has a beautiful outfit that matches the prompt, and it's not cohesive. You can kind of get away with it. They're not going to eliminate you.
And I'm Victoria Malcolm.
Oh
No,
my
that's
God,
me.
that's the one. Oh man.
We don't talk
All right.
about that movie enough.
I love that movie.
Then Tori, start us off. Where can everybody find you?
You can find me online at smtoy. That's Toy with an I.
Jonah, where can everybody find
You
you?
can find me places at Peak Jonah. It's Peak.
Hey, producer, where can we find you?
Kevo, really? KEVO,
Hey, best friend and bro, where can we find you?
It's TK Accidental. Big man, where can they find you?
Nico Action, NICOACTION, Nico Action Music, NICOACTION, MUSIC. Check out this show, X is for Show, on all your socials and all the podcasts here on YouTube. Like, comment, and subscribe. Check it.
Oh, you froze.
Uh-oh.
Got to do us a favor. Number 1, stay safe. Oh, I'm back. Hey, number 1,
2,
stay
be
safe.
brave.
Number 2, be brave. Number 3, everybody's got us covered and evolve daily. And we're going to check you guys out next time with more Project Runway, more everything Drag Race. Oh, we're going to totally do Slays Royale. It looks so good. Can't wait. Love you guys. Bye.
Bye.
Ooh.